What's going on? This is Not Dre with Aggressivemall here with another tech tip. Upgrading your bearings is probably the most overlooked and most underrated upgrade you can make to your skates. Whenever you start with stock bearings on your skates, they'll work, but they're not going to be up to par. Me personally, I only ride Swiss bearings. I've been riding the same set for 3 years. And with careful maintenance, you can have a set that will last just as long. There's also many other types of Swiss bearings. There's the 6-ball, which is a improved version of the bone Swiss, and it just has less balls for less friction. There's also the bone Swiss ceramics, which is the top of the line bone Swiss bearing. And then there's also other brands that make Swiss bearings, such as Them Goods, who also has a good Swiss bearing. When it comes to cleaning bearings, I like to do it about every time I change my wheels. Today I'm getting some new Eric Bailey Eulogy wheels. Eulogy always has treated me well. Very long lasting wheels, good grip on park and street. And for $26, you really can't beat the price. So now I'm going to show you how to clean your bearings. First steps first, you got to take your wheels out your skates. So go ahead and grab your skate and grab 2 Allen wrenches, depending on the frames, and go ahead and loosen up your bolts and take your wheels out. Now that we have the wheels out of the frame, we're going to go ahead and take the bearings out of the wheels. So this might be a little tricky if you don't have some specialized tools, but even if you just have one of these Allen wrenches, it's still possible to take the bearings out of your wheels, no problem. So what you want to do is go ahead and take your bearing and line it up on the inside, and through the spacer you want to push it against the rim of the inner bearing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Then once you do that, you put a little bit of pressure, not too much, and then if there's any resistance, you want to just go ahead and put some even pressure around all of the bearing. Mine seem to be coming out just fine, and I'm going to go ahead and knock those out. Now that we have our bearings out, the next step is to go ahead and grab our turbo wash. I personally like turbo wash over any other method because it's real convenient, easy to use. They have a little plastic slide where you just go ahead and drop the bearings in, and it allows it to filter all the dirt, and it's easy to shake up and kind of move and disturb the particles that might be lodged in your bearings. So you're going to go ahead and open this turbo wash, take off the plastic blue lid, and try not to make a mess. You don't want to spill this everywhere, especially if you're doing this indoors. Then once you go ahead and do that, I like to recommend taking the plastic slide and lifting it up a little bit, plop them in the turbo wash, and put it down, and then you can shake it around, jiggle it, whatever, just let it sit there for a little bit. Do that with all your bearings. Once you take your bearings out of the turbo wash, you want to spin it by hand, especially if they're real dirty, because that'll help free up any dirt that's still in your bearing. And if it's been a while since you cleaned it, you want to go ahead and rinse it a couple times. It doesn't hurt to do it more than once. Then once you get it free spinning, you know it's good to go, and you can go ahead and kind of hit it gently against the paper towel to kind of remove any excess moisture, and a lot of dirt that's still loose will kind of come out that way. So go ahead and hit both sides gently against the paper towel, and then you want to let them dry for, I'd say, about an hour. So let's come back in an hour and check out how these are doing. Once your bearings have finished drying, you want to go ahead and grab your lube. In this case, I'm going to use Bone Speed Cream. And you really don't need to put too much on it. So you just go ahead and grab your bearing. Should be nice and dry by now. You just place a little bit around the edge. I'd go from, let's say, the 12 o'clock of the bearing to 6 o'clock. And that's pretty much all you need to do. Then once it's in, you want to kind of let it sit and then just spin it around so it applies evenly throughout the bearing. And then once you do that to that one, go ahead and repeat to the next one and just continue the same process. And remember, you don't want to use too much. Too much lube is not necessary. Once you got your bearings lubed up, you want to go ahead and grab your wheels and go ahead and place your bearings into your wheels. And it shouldn't be too much force required to put the bearings in, but if there is some resistance, you can go ahead and kind of push it against the table, and that should do the trick. Then for Eulogies, make sure you use the right spacer. Eulogies take this very small, thin spacer. So go ahead and place that, and you can't forget that. That's no good if you have your wheels without spacers. So put the spacer in the middle of the wheel and place the second bearing on top. Should just slide in like that, and you should be all set. So go ahead and grab your skate and put your wheels back onto your skate. We should be riding in no time. Well, this concludes today's tech tip. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube. Check the description below. There you'll find all the links to all the products that we showed you in this video. I'm Not Dre, and I hope you enjoyed this tech tip. See you next time.